So over the weekend, I decided to take a shot at adding the spinning feature to the flower mechanism. And adding rotation on the Z can be tricky because the part that spins absolutely cannot be attached to anything that has wires on it, because those would just wrap around the spinning part and it would get tangled up and you'd have a problem. That means that in order to do so, this is the point in time where I need to define a stationary and a moving part of my assembly. Anything electric, like anything that needs power, like my motors or my LEDs, would need to be fixed to the stationary portion of my design. And then there's the rotating, plunging part of the assembly that does its mechanical movement thing, but without use of any electricity. I'm now using two motors, one for the plunging action and one for the rotation. I had to create a motor mount plate, which is one piece that both motors are mounted to, and it keeps them in the same position relative to each other. I also created a case so that all of those gear pieces can be contained within something, and that keeps them from, I don't know, pinching anything, getting anything stuck inside of them. Hi, kitty. Hey. Sophie says hi. It's Fish Head Monday. Kitty gets fish heads on Monday. Anyhow, the part of the assembly that has the rack on it would be tricky to rotate in place because it's already engaged with the teeth of one of my motors, which is a thing that can't move. It's part of the stationary part of the design. Since those two pieces are kind of locked together with the gear teeth, it occurred to me that I could extrude the rack all the way around that sleeve or piston bit, so that the entire cylinder was effectively one rack gear. That way, when it rotates in place, it's not really changing from the perspective of the pinion gear that's engaged with it. So yeah, I'm holding it in my hands right now. There, that's a good way of doing it. So this black part is just the case that fits over the mechanism, and this is the mounting bit that chucks into my camera stand for testing, and that just holds it upright. In the back of the club here is where my standard servo that does the Z rotation is mounted, and then kind of at the front here, this little mini servo is the thing that does the plunging. And then this, you can just see it poking out. That's that drum rack gear tube sleeve. And it does the plunging in and out. And the rest of the assembly, like the actual flower, is pretty much, it's been the same since revision 1. As of this version, the flower is capable of doing that flapping motion and rotating in place. The other thing that I need to do is add that LED ring. This thing. So this is going to mount at the front, somewhere like that at some point in time. Since it does take electricity to power the LEDs, it can't be attached to anything that's a moving part. And the tip of this is the moving part. So I'm going to need to mount it to something that bypasses all of this and can get power to it. So that complicates this specific version of the mechanism considerably, and I had to rethink some of the things going on in here from the ground up, but I did. Again, like while I was laying in bed falling asleep, I was thinking about this, and I had an idea, and it kind of fits into the same like category as this like strange extruded gear. It's the same type of gear, but it's on the other axis plane, and you'll see. That's for another day. But this is where Flower's at. I'm really happy. It's like a finished assembly. But yeah, thank you for being here. I'm excited. This baby's excited. This is Rev 6 of version 2 of Flower.